Well, I'm going to do kind of a bold thing. I'm going to start playing in the foreground now. And usually I keep my foregrounds very dark. In this case, I think what I'm going to do is just drop the temperature of the colors and just keep it cool. The colors will probably be quite similar to what I have in the water, but I have a plan for the water, and I'm not going to lay paint in the water anymore until I have more of the painting done. You'll see when the time comes what the idea was for the water. So yeah, I'm just gonna lay in some colors here, some paint. And we'll see what happens. I'm using ultramarine blue and yellow ochre, and here and there I'm just going to add a little bit of raw umber just to break it up, toning down the values as I get towards the edge of the painting. Using that raw umber. Okay, that line that I'm leaving is a little too thick, a little too pronounced. We'll soften that. I don't want to go too high a value. I don't want to bring things to too high a value in the immediate foreground, because that'll distract from our focal area. But I'm getting kind of bold, maybe a little flamboyant with my strokes. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. Again, just trying to lay in some design here and there, without cluttering it up with too much, too many lines, you know. Okay, yeah. Okay. You know, a few seconds of work and suddenly things come to life a little bit. I like that. Keeping a little bit of variety in. I'm not overly fond of this color as a color. Doesn't matter. This color is a tool which is very useful to aid in making the colors that I like better, or I feel are warmer, to appear even warmer. You know, you can't have warm colors unless you have cool colors to contrast them against. So that's kind of my thinking. Alright. A little more of the same. Okay, let's see. very light, but that might be all right. It's too light. Too much light. Let's go bluer. Let's go bluer and lower in value. And I know I went too light here, because I have a plan to possibly have some of the root of the trunk coming down into the ground. I'd like to show that. Might not work at all, I have no idea. Let's see. Is that a good shape? Yeah, it might be okay. Nah, it's kind of immature looking. Okay. Nope. It's not going to work for me. Sorry. And I went way too high a value right there. All right. I cut into that trunk base a little too much there too. Got too excited, like a kid in a candy store. It's good to get excited, but not too excited. You gotta stay in control of things a little bit. Okay. I think that's all right. Now, if all there were to paint is from here this way, I would put more light here. But I can't afford to do that. That will end up making a mess of things. So, as I said, I'm just going to keep my colors cooler. I'm going to put a little more ultramarine blue and actually some raw umber in here. I'm trying to keep it interesting without competing. Without competing with you know what. I'm going to put, like I had a few rocks here, I'm going to put a couple more of these rocks right here, catching some light. Okay, so this hill goes down. This slopes down. This slopes down. I think I can get away with laying a bit more light again and a few more lines in this direction at the bottom, because they will oppose what's up here. I think that's going to balance things out okay. Again, not getting too warm. I'm going to go a little warmer with the color again, but not a lot. More for the sake of variety than anything. I like the brush I'm using, but it's boar's hair, but it's very soft boar's hair. And I kind of prefer boar's hair to be a little stiffer. That's okay, we'll just work with it. Okay, so we have a bit of shadow here, and then we have a bit of light catching the bottom. You know, because you never know. Off screen to the left, you never know what's standing there. It's entirely possible that there's a row of trees or a single tree or what have you that are casting shadows on this area. Okay, so I think that helps to join what we've got going on here already. Actually, this is it's a bit round. Okay, I'll carry on with that, and you will see me shortly. No, you won't see me. You'll see the painting shortly. Well, I talked about showing the root system of where this tree is planted on the ground. I decided against it. If you have an intimate painting and you're not looking off into the distance, that's usually design-wise helpful just to show things, you know, like your vertical tree trunks showing up behind a rise or behind a bush or, you know, behind a shelf of some sort. So I decided to go that route, and yes, the foreground is going to be quite light, lighter than usual. That's okay, there's no harm in doing that. But I'm going to continue bringing my lines across like this a little bit. When you have this narrow band of area of land represented in a painting of this shape, I think it's quite helpful to lay your lines in such a way, or put it this way. On this painting, I would like to have my lines pointing towards this area of interest, this focal area. So if my lines on the bottom do this, in general, okay, very roughly speaking, that will help to subconsciously keep the eye focused on this area. If it were just sort of flat and I were to keep all of my brush strokes horizontal, I think we would end up with a very flat and almost it would almost seem like it was out of rhythm with the painting. So this is what we do. You know, varying the colors again a little. Not getting too crazy. I think I might have gone a little too blue there, but I lose enough sleep with all my little aches and pains, so I'm not going to lose sleep over this because I think it'll work just fine the way it is. And I kind of think this is fun too, because you're just kind of laying in the big powerful brush strokes. And that's pretty instantly gratifying. I like it. It'll work just fine. Instant gratification. It's like hedonistic painting. And I don't want too many lines down here either. I want to emphasize the fact that they are very strong brush strokes. A little more white, a little more of that stuff, a little more blue. Okay, that's doing the job to there. Now we'll need to do the job on the other side a little bit. But what I'm going to do, just for the fun of it, I'm going to put a little bit, just a smidge, of alizarin crimson. And suddenly it warms up, but slightly only. It's purple. You know, or in that direction at least. Okay, just a couple of strokes. Again, I don't want these lines to be too coarse. Don't want the painting to turn into a potato sack. Yeah, I think I'll just butt up against that and maybe even mix into it. I'm constantly having these little bits of paint skin to remove, which is fine. I would rather deal with little bits of paint skin to remove daily than scraping my palette clean every day in order to get rid of that stuff. Because my goodness, I would waste a lot of paint if I did that. Okay, I like that idea. We'll just put the odd stroke in over here as well. So the change seems gradual enough. And I think, you know, I might just continue with the same color right over here. See, you leave a couple of areas dark, unpainted, and you can go in with another color, and that somehow very subtly enriches and makes another area interesting. I don't advocate just leaving them dark necessarily, at least not again on this painting, but I think the way it's working out right now, you know, when I'm playing it moment by moment, I'm really just feeling it out. Honestly, I'm not following rules. It's so much about painting is intuitive, you know, and just keep it that way. Don't get too freaked out, too worried about, oh, I'm not supposed to do this. Yeah, you do what you want. Do what you want. If in your eye it looks good, then there's a pretty good chance it's going to look the same in somebody else's eye. At least I've had pretty good luck that way. You know, I'm now just going over, maybe, you know, modifying it slightly as I go. Because once you have one area done, you go, oh, that area looks good, and I'll go over to this area and maybe make that look better. So, you know, this family of colors in this whole front, in this whole bottom slice, they're closely related, you know. There's really only ultramarine blue, yellow ochre, raw umber, and alizarin crimson and white. So that's not a lot of colors in an area, but it's enough to keep it interesting. You know, coupled with various lines and designs, you know, here and there. I don't know, make it up as you go. All right, I like that as a foreground. Now I'm going to play with some of these colors and introduce these rocks. And they're going to have some light on them, because that will, you know, we have this sort of wave, up, down, up. Nah. I'd rather just go down, up. Yeah, I think that'll work. Well, looking at this painting, I thought I have these rocks coming in from the right, ending roughly where this bush ends. And if I make these into rocks, they will end roughly where this bush ends. And it's a detail in an area that the painting does not need. What would I think actually be a little bit beneficial is to take this bluish green area and raise it. So rather than rocks, I'm just going to continue with this. I think that works just fine. Oh, a little more white there. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I'm going to get rid of that one. That line. Unnecessary things are a distraction. If they don't help, they may as well go. Okay. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Talk to you soon, guys. There. This is a square-on shot. Give you a little better idea of what's going on. Talk to you soon.